right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast, the number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business. This is episode 144. Christian Brindle, Glenn Shelton, and we have a doozy of an episode for you all today. Good morning, good sir.
Good morning. Happy hump day to you, Mr. Brindle.
Thanks. I love celebrating the hump and everything.
Absolutely. I mean, nothing better than the middle of the week, as I always like to say. You know, I had to, when I was, shared custody of the podcast, when I was host, essentially, while you were gone, I had to take over that intro. That's a tall order to live up to. You know, that 90 seconds, you really have it nailed down. And every time I psyched myself out, I'm like, am I still giving it the sauce that Christian would have given it?
You did just fine. You did just fine. From what as a viewer myself,
a viewer,
you did terrific.
Okay.
If I would say so myself. We're going to be talking today about a topic that I think is kind of interesting, and that is like everybody's always kind of forecasting the end of Medicare and the end of Medicare sales. And there's a lot of doom and gloom that always surrounds this conversation. So I figured, why don't we just contribute to that doom and gloom for an entire episode? And
we've already killed MedSup on this show and buried it so
over and over and over again.
So let's keep going.
Why don't we try to forecast, maybe not necessarily when, but what will be the demise of the Medicare space? So I want to get into that. Did you have anything you wanted to start the show with before we jump into this, though?
It's funny you mentioned that, because there is one thing I wanted to bring up, and this is like just as much any listeners, whether you're audio only or you're here on the stream right now, I'd love to hear from you guys. I've seen several podcasts pop up in our niche, in the insurance niche, specifically the senior world, senior insurance. And they're shooting for podcast lengths of 5 to 10 minutes. I kid you not.
Wait,
they're doing episodes. There's not what, like when I saw one, I was like, okay, this is like their style. But then I saw another and I'm like, is this what people want?
No.
Do you want like a 5-minute pod?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I was honestly shocked to see that. I'm like, what? How can you really get into a top, like 5 minutes to me is like, that's like a headline,
Is there any semblance of that there appears to be any audience for those shows that you saw?
One of them is they've been in the industry for a while, so I think they have an audience built up. I don't think the audience necessarily came from the podcast. The other one I think might be backed by a carrier. Believe it or not, it's a very interesting situation. Yeah, I'll send you the links after post show here so you can see what I'm talking about. But
I feel like there's different types of content, right? Like, so you can do a YouTube video in 5 minutes where like it's, relatively structured, it's crisp, it's to the point, you're getting your message out. But even for a YouTube video, 5 minutes feels a little short. I feel like a good YouTube video is going to be like at least 8 to 10 minutes or more. But a podcast, certainly, like there's just no time to get into anything. I almost feel like I've seen podcasts like that before, and they strike me at times as glorified infomercials.
Yeah.
Like where they're literally just like a 5-minute commercial for their company, whatever it might be. And they're so beyond boring. I don't know if that's the case for these ones necessarily, but like that's usually when I've seen those shorter form podcasts where it's like, hey, I'm Dave Smith. That's not a good example. Dave Smith's a real person.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, well, that's not.
Let me think of someone else. This is Jason Smith, and you're listening to the Medicare Hour. And it's like well, on today's show we're gonna talk about Medicare supplements. If you want to learn more about Medicare supplements, call 1-800. And like now, when you pick a Medicare supplement, it's important that you call me. You don't need to know anything about this. Oh, and I'm like, that's the end of the podcast. It's like,
I mean, you're absolutely right. Like on YouTube, I'll click on a 5 or 10 minute YouTube video, and that's actually like almost the norm depending on the channel, right? Obviously, some go much longer, but as a consumer for podcasts, I don't think I'm gonna click on a 5 minute podcast.
no, there's
Yeah,
nothing there.
I think it's got to be at least probably 20 to 25 minutes for me to feel like there's anything worth listening to, you know?
Yeah. Like even in the early days of the Everything Medicare podcast, where it was literally just me by myself riffing, they would go 15, 20 minutes at the
Yeah,
shortest, oftentimes. Like
yeah.
usually they're going longer than that, though, like 25, 30 minutes. And I'm just sitting here ranting about something. Like, yeah, at times yelling into my phone. If you go back and look at the reviews on Apple for the Everything Medicare podcast, the only complaint you'll ever find is that there's too much screaming. seriously, I'm not kidding. If you go look at the reviews, most of the reviews are like, I love the show, so great. He does such a good job. He explains things well. I just wish he wouldn't yell so much.
He's a very angry man.
I would get so animated about things. I'd be like, why are you doing this? Why? CMS, why?
He's going Super Saiyan.
So yeah, I mean, if you guys want to laugh, go listen to some of those early Everything Medicare podcast episodes, and we get a little intense, we get a little fiery back in the day. But I say that to say, like, that was literally me riffing, no camera, no audio, just like no microphone for a while, into my phone. And those would go 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes oftentimes. It's just 5 minutes. I don't understand.
I'm almost curious to the point where I'd almost want to do it just to see if it works, because I see like one of them's a newer show. So again, I saw two of these. One of them's a newer show. I had like maybe 15, 20 episodes. The other one had probably close to 200 episodes, which obviously if you're doing 5 minute episodes, I could do 1,000 episodes today.
Yeah.
I could record 1,000 episodes
you
right now.
This show up into like 10 episodes.
I know, you do 10 episodes right now. Maybe, I don't know. I'm really curious. Our attention spans, I think, as humans, is just going down and down and down. Maybe that's the future. Maybe they're the head of the curve. Maybe the 3-minute podcast is going to be the future.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, but I'd be fascinated to check the ones you're talking about out after the show.
Yeah, I'll definitely send them to you for sure.
Let's jump into the sponsor of this episode, so we have plenty of time to talk about this.
Yes.
This very scary topic at hand today. Who is the sponsor of episode 144?
That's a great question. The sponsor of today's episode is the Everything Senior Insurance Virtual AEP Kickoff Event, happening Monday, September 8th at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard, 7 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm going through all the time zones for you guys. You do not want to miss this virtual kickoff event. We're coming up on almost 2,000 agents registered. We're going to have some of the biggest carriers in the Medicare space on to help you guys understand what's going on coming into this AEP. If you feel lost, concerned, confused, if you need help with marketing, sales, product knowledge, this is going to be a one-stop shop to get you ready for this coming AEP. We'll have the sign up link in the comments below on this stream. You can also head over to 7figure.com. We'll have the registration link on there as well. It's also all over the group if you're trying to find it. Super excited about this. So again, that's Monday, September 8th, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's going to be going all day. Tons of great speakers, great content. Do not miss it. And it's free. That's how much
Free.
it costs you. $0. It's free. Free.
0.0 is what it
We could
costs.
have I've had agents ask me too, like, how much do I have to pay? We totally could have charged, but we didn't because we love you guys. You're
Yes.
welcome.
Love it. Make sure that you guys attend that. It's going to be terrific, okay? The best AEB kickoff. Let's shift gears into this topic. Okay, so I was thinking about this a little bit about like what are the extinction level events? I think we start off there by kind of
Meteor.
laying them out, right? What the extinction level events could be, and then talk about what is the most likely to wipe us out. Like,
What's the meteor coming to
can
hit us?
I mean, now are we contributing to this doom and gloom, sky is falling attitude with this episode today? Certainly we are. But
This one's for all the chicken littles
this
out
is
there.
what you guys want.
This is what
you guys want. This is
the
what many of you in the
Get
audience
your popcorn,
want.
chicken littles. We're going a lot longer than 5 minutes here, okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 5 hours.
The sky's falling and we're confirming it right here, right now, okay?
Okay. Let's talk about the first one. Technology.
Ooh.
Technology innovation makes it to where technology can be an agent better than you can be.
Okay, so let's back up for a second here because I initially took this topic as the end of I guess it's kind of both. I was looking at it more of like Medicare itself as like
We'll
a
talk
health
about that
insurance
too.
but yeah, I guess it's all it's all one. Yeah,
different roads lead to different outcomes.
that's true. That's true.
So
Okay, technology.
technology, right? So in that world, the Medicare space is still around, but it's completely automated by technology. Carriers do all of their enrollments through AI, everything like that. So that's one. 2, single payer, which would eradicate Medicare as a whole, right? It becomes some type of single payer system. Okay, so I'll kind of lay these out, and then we'll kind of take them one by one, and then we can kind of finalize which one we feel like would be the most likely outcome. Government. So the single payer is one government intervention,
Right.
Multiple. And there's multiple though. CMS changes things up to where there's so much regulation, and there's and commissions get cut, commissions get slashed. There's just no profitability anymore in the
Call
Medicare
1-800 Medicare, and there's no commissions. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a possibility. Sure.
So that would be number 3. Number 4, I would say, is the carriers themselves decide that they don't need us. And it starts with 1.
Carriers are like, we're just gonna stop paying you guys. We're gonna do it all ourselves.
They're like, WellCare had it right.
Yeah, Domino's, one does it. The next
starts
10
with
fall in
1.
line.
It happens over the course of a couple of years. Okay, so any other extinction level events that I'm not thinking of?
The only other one that comes
Those are my 4.
mind that I would maybe add to this off the top of my head would be, and this is a classic. This is a classic one that we've heard for years, is the Medicare going bankrupt, right?
Yes.
It just loses funding overnight. And you know, that's a true like buildings on fire, sky is falling level event, right? It's like, like Medicare's bankrupt. I'm sure we could probably keep going and keep building on this list if we wanted to. But maybe we start with these 5.
Yeah, I think these are a good place to start. Um, let's take them one at a time. Okay, so let's circle back to technology, right? Technology innovation. What does this look like? What does this post-apocalyptic world of Skynet look like with Robot Patriot Insurance?
RPI. RPI.
To me, I feel like what it looks like is you have AI that is so advanced, but it's not something that we have the ability to control as agents, right? Maybe there's regulation that comes out that says you guys can't do this, but carriers can, or maybe there's like ship is allowed to do it or something, some type of organization like that, right? Because agents, obviously, as technology evolves, they can build their own type of thing, but it's going to be a compliance gray area once we get there. So let's say for whatever reason, agents can't do that. They're not allowed to do that. And then it just becomes a game where they can't compete. They're slower, less efficient, can only have one conversation at a time. Robot Patriot Insurance can have 1,000 conversations at a time. Um, and it just buries you. It's more
Yep.
efficient.
Yep.
It's all of the above. Um, thoughts on that type of scenario and what that type of world would look like?
It's funny because this reminds me, I watched a show once it that feels very similar to this podcast episode we're doing right now. And the show went through like it was like top 5 or top 10 most likely extinction events, like how we would as a species like get eliminated, and it feels like we're doing the same thing essentially here. And AI was, technology and AI were in like the top 3 in that show. So the scary part with this one is I if you stretch the timeline out long enough, this is probably inevitable. But how far do you have to the question really becomes is how far do we have to stretch this timeline out? 100 years from now, right? We're all dead anyways, right? Like, or is this 3 or 5 years? I have no idea. I have no idea. So that's the scariest part about this scenario is it's not really a matter of if this will happen. It's more a matter of when. But this is a big but is, it could be 50 years from now before the technology is at a point where it's truly able. And then the other part of the technology conversation, I brought this up before on the show, is the legislation that has to follow it, which is always lagging historically 5 or 10
Mm-hmm.
years behind. So the tech has to catch up, and then the tech has to get adopted. You have the seniors that we're working with in the Medicare space, the slowest to adopt technology, and then the legislators have to get behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would guess the shortest, it's probably at least a decade out from a serious possibility of doing damage. That's my guess, but it's still scary to think about.
And then, of course, we would obviously have this weird middle ground where it hasn't completely wiped everybody out yet, but they're still competing against it, right? There's still agents holding on.
John Henry.
Yeah.
John Henry against
There's
man against the
leaderboards coming
machine.
out. The AI's talking shit.
Oh my
The AI's
god.
like the AI's like 6 apps today. That's cute. Ha ha. Try 606.
Just wrote another. Just wrote another. Just wrote another. Just,
Every 5 seconds, I am averaging a double.
it's tweeting. It's tweeting out as it writes.
It's posting in the Facebook
posting
group.
on X. Sorry, posting on X. There's no such thing as a tweet.
Yes, yes.
Well, and then you've mentioned this before when this conversation came up that is always interesting too, is like there's this scenario where agents are using their own RPI,
Yes.
Robot Patriot Insurance, that's a whole nother weird scenario here that I don't even understand how that would potentially play out, right? Here's something I just read though that I believe so strongly is where we're headed right now. It's all going to be about branding and
Mm-hmm.
and who you are. Technology is going to level the playing field on the back end. Like software as an example, we'll get to the point where you could create some type of major, like Netflix, Spotify, Facebook, any major software platform, you'll be able to create yourself very easily. And then it will all become about branding and marketing and who you are. And so that's probably potentially where this goes too.
Mm-hmm.
AI might level the playing field and you can enroll as many people as you want anytime you want, but they have to know who you are, right? They have to find you. They have to want to work with you, trust you, like you.
That is too optimistic for this Chicken Little episode, okay?
I was leaning too
No.
far into the chin. When I said it's not a matter of if but when, I could feel everyone like, oh, he said it. It's over. It's over. I'm getting out. I'm out.
Clip that right there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Put some scary music on it and run it as an ad.
It's not a matter of if, but when.
Yeah, I think that one is definitely that one's going to be in my running of most likely outcomes of all of these. But let's move on to
let's rank them at the. We'll rank it
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah,
end.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
rank it at the end. We'll rank them at the end.
Okay.
So that's what?
The next one was,
I think it was one pair.
This episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast is brought to you by my mini course, How to Find and Buy Books of Businesses. Guys, in 2024, Glenn and I, in our combined company, purchased and acquired through acquisition 900 clients. And over the years, we've purchased thousands of clients to grow our agency internally. And we've learned a thing or two over the years, right? There's certain things you need to look out for. You need to know how to value a book of business. You need to know how to transfer everything, what the expectations are in terms of the timeline. And you need to know how to put a deal together and structure it to protect yourself while still at the same time doing good business with people. Guys, this mini course is around 10 videos long. It's a quick and easy thing to get through. And it's a great way for you to grow your book of business in 2025. Whether you're finding an agent that is maybe been in the business for decades and they want to retire, and then maybe they don't have any kids to take over their business. Maybe you're looking at a situation with an agent that just hasn't been able to make it in the business and they're just looking to go off and try other things. Buying books of businesses can be a great way to quickly and rapidly grow your business fast. And we've unveiled all of the little tools and tricks that you need to know in this training. It's a one-time purchase for only $197. For that price, we're practically giving it away. Make sure to check it out now. Now back to the show. Yes, you're right. You're right. One payer. Okay, so one payer system, right? America decides, you know what? Canada, you're right.
Hey, guy.
I'm terribly sorry, friend.
Hey, guy. I'm not your friend, pal.
Listen here, buddy.
The way you said that. Canada was right. Canada.
It doesn't matter that we have to subsidize their country every year to exist. Doesn't matter. You know, they're right. Okay. So we take on that type of single payer system. Insurance is kind of not a thing anymore. Now, even in single payer countries, there still are situations where people can buy Wow.
Do they cover their heart when they listen to this?
I don't know. I don't know what they do.
I feel like I used to live. Guys, hit us up in the comments.
If you're Canadian or you know anything about Canadians, I'm terribly sorry, Brad.
We just lost our entire Canadian audience.
We really did.
There. It's gone.
All two of them.
Oh gosh.
So we take that on, right? We take on single payer. Now, even in countries that do single payer, they typically have like private insurance options that are still available for people that don't want to like do the wait game. Because that's the thing with single payer, right? You get on a list and you wait. You die before you're seen. Tough shit. Too bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't your turn at the DMV/hospital. Which is basically the way basically the way it goes.
Yeah.
Calling number 8426. Please see your doctor at window 7. Anyway, so we adopt that, right? There would still probably be some opportunity to sell some type of insurance, but it would not any longer be a necessity. It would be a luxury. And the vast majority of people probably wouldn't take it because they wouldn't be able to afford it because they'd be taxed to bejeebus to pay for this single payer thing. All of our taxes go up to 70% or something like that. So any additional thoughts on single payer? What did I leave out there?
I've had some really great Canadian friends. I feel like I have to backpedal. I'm signing off. I'm getting out of here. 25 minutes. This is like 5 episodes anyways, basically. So
yeah. We're doing overtime at this point. I'm telling this eye, Fred. Let that hair, buddy.
I had a serious girlfriend in high school, Canadian.
Oh.
Yeah. And she ended up struggling. She couldn't get her visa renewed, so she got thrown out of the country. It was kind of a tragedy.
So you have roots to Canada that I didn't
really
know about,
guys. I really do.
Interesting.
Yeah, shout out to the Brewer family out there. So I got a close up of what Canadians thought of their healthcare system. And I've talked to a lot of Canadians over the years.
I'm sorry.
Deserves more money. 1, 2, 3, 4. Canada deserves more money. Look, buddy, me and Philip need to go home for a bit. Go home? You can't leave the picket line. But this is taking too long and Philip is diabetic. Look, guy, we have to stay strong. If you don't stand with your fellow Canadians, then you are a rat. Don't call me a rat, buddy. I'm not your buddy, friend. He's not your friend, guy. I'm not your guy, buddy. He's not your buddy, friend. I'm not your friend, guy. Yeah, let's give it up, guy. Don't call me your guy. I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
So I've talked to a lot of Canadians about what they've thought of their healthcare system, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. Some people act like it's the greatest thing ever. You know, you'll hear stories like, my husband had a brain tumor and I would have never been able to afford to have the surgery or the treatment done, and it got done in incredible care. But then you'll hear the other side of it, the horror stories of, took me 9 months to get in, and by the time I got in, my problem was so much worse. And now what would have been a simple checkup, now I have something serious that's developed over 9 months, and now I'm gonna die. Literally, I've heard all sides of it. So I think the scariest part about the one payer is, I think what I see here in the States is, if you were to poll like a random group of 10,000 people in the US, I think the majority would probably say they want it, would be my guess. So when we're talking about the meteor, I'm just telling you the truth. I think there's a big group of people in the US that they genuinely want it. You know, I think there's a lot of people that want it. So you have this progressive ideology, and it's kind of like this grass is greener mentality. We're looking over the fence at Canada. Oh man, that looks so nice. And rarely is the grass ever actually greener. You think it's greener, you get over to the other side, it's not actually greener. So that's the scariest part, is you get Christian loves to talk about the pendulum swinging, which I think is very accurate. Right now, the pendulum's on a very far conservative side in this country. I could personally see the swing coming all the way back, and all of a sudden we've got someone super progressive in office. Bernie Sanders is too old to really become any type of major leader at this point. At least that's my understanding. I don't know. Maybe we'll continue to elect very old people.
So I asked ChatGPT that exact question. What percentage of Americans support single payer? It's not a clear answer. So it said Kaiser Family Foundation did a study, and it said that.
Love this. I would guess 60%. If you were to tell my guess before you say this, I would guess 6 out of 10.
Listen to this, though. This is interesting.
Okay.
In a poll where respondents were presented with the basic concept of quote unquote Medicare for all, 56% initially supported it. But after being informed about potential drawbacks, as in the potential care delays and increased taxes, support plummeted.
That's my exact point, though, is like the rainbow picture that gets painted up front, the majority of people buy into that rainbow picture.
Sure.
Right? And that's the scary part, is if the pendulum swings and we get someone super progressive in office, AOC, somebody who's, I'm a man of the people, I'm a woman of the people, and I want to get you guys free healthcare. Everyone will bite onto that hook, right? Like the fish will bite that hook. The average person's not going to look into it. The average person's not going to get informed on what could actually happen if this comes to fruition, right?
That's horrifyingly scary, but I think you're right. The number when they're informed of the specifics, that drops to 26% of support.
Totally.
Is what the Kaiser Family Foundation study showed. Yeah, I think that's very accurate. Because I think people buy in to headlines. Did I freeze? Did I go away?
I had a glitch here. I'm back. I don't know if that was me or you.
Yeah, I don't know either. No, I think people buy into headlines, and I think that's very accurate. Unfortunately,
I feel like every presidential election that I've been a part of, that's what I've seen come to fruition, is they love to grab these candidates that are running for office. They love to put these headlines out, these catchy things. I mean, Obama's whole thing was just like change.
What does that mean?
Right? It doesn't matter. It's provocative, right? It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to mean anything. Just get something that the people like to hear. They like to say it,
Nice, colorful pictures of yourself.
Free healthcare. I'm telling you, I can just see it. I can see it 5-10 years from now. Someone will just. But the other part of it is like, there's so much money in lobbying and these health insurance companies. I don't feel like anyone's going to let it get there. I feel like we could really go down a rabbit hole here.
We could. This could be its own episode.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the other two. Let's move a little quicker through those, because I want to have enough time to analyze like the final,
rank them.
Okay, so the final two were.
I think do we have 3 more?
You could maybe. I thought there were only 2. The 2 I remembered were.
I'm gonna write it down. My handy dandy notebook.
CMS decides to overregulate so much,
and decommission
plans, everything like that. And the second one, I guess you could kind of combine these into one. Carriers decide to stop paying commissions. You could probably put those in the same bucket, potentially, because maybe the decommissioning from the carriers could come as a result of what comes from CMS potentially on the regulation side. So those are the 2 that I had left. Is there a last one I'm missing?
Medicare going bankrupt.
Oh yes, thank you. Medicare going bankrupt. So I feel like we need as much time as possible to rank these.
Yeah.
So where should we start? Do you want to start at, so we have 5 total?
There's 5. So
Okay.
I'm writing them down so we have it. So technology, one payer health system, Medicare going bankrupt, carriers deciding they don't need us. Was that?
Yeah, you could say that. That's probably a good way to articulate it. And then I guess it depends if we want to put them in 2 different categories or not. CMS regulation.
I say we separate it. I say
Okay.
we separate it. I say over-regulation by CMS, and then carriers not needing us is like carriers not wanting to pay us anymore.
Mm-hmm. And then Medicare going bankrupt.
Yeah, carriers not paying us, Medicare going bankrupt, CMS over-regulation. Those are we'll blitz these 3 and then we'll rank them.
Okay. All right. So I say we start at the least likely and work our way down. So what would you say would be your number 5 least likely extinction event?
So it's tough because a lot of these, again, similar to the technology thing, like if we stretch out the timeline, some of these get a lot more possible. But when I look at the interim, like something like CMS over regulation, I mean, right now we have a very conservative administration, that essentially ran on deregulation. I don't think our boy Mehmet here is coming in guns a blazing to overregulate it, but that could change in the future. My least, if I just had to say over the next decade, what I think is the least likely to happen,
2035.
I would say Medicare going bankrupt.
Yeah,
that's probably number 5 for me.
I would agree.
I would agree. We're printing money to
they'll find a way. They'll find a way.
Yeah, we'll find a way.
Okay, so we're in agreement. 5. We're in agreement on that one, on number 5.
Yeah.
The second
you picked
least
4.
likely.
Yeah, pick 4. What would you say 4 is?
Okay, the second least likely one to me, and we're doing it on a timeline from now until 2035. Go over the next 10 years. I think that's a good place to look at this.
Yeah.
I would say carriers deciding not to pay us. That would be the one that I think is the least likely. The reason I say that is because Medicare products have been around for so long and it's never gotten to that point. And you know that carriers would love to operate without us, but this whole time they've never done it because they feel like it's in their best interest to work with us. And I don't think that's going to change in a big way over the next 10 years.
It would take something massive.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a massive shift for carriers to just say, hey, we don't need you guys anymore. So
Thanks
I guess
for your service. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, the thing is, a lot of these, like the next 2, if you look at like the one payer and the CMS overregulation, we would really need to get a very progressive, very liberal administration in office for either of those to really come to fruition.
Yes.
So over the next 10 years, that's
10 years two presidential elections possible.
So most likely out of the next 2, at least one of them will be someone on the liberal side, right? I mean, it's a coin flip every time, essentially. And if we have a conservative in office now, so I would say, I think the one payer is probably next for me. That's such a big one to try to overcome.
Yeah, I debated putting that one 4.
Yeah.
The only reason why I didn't put it 4, and I'm more comfortable putting it 3, is that the current administration is going to be in this term. Then all bets are off after that.
Yeah.
Who knows what could happen?
Almost interchangeable, the 3 and 4,
Yeah.
but now overregulation and technology. That's our last two here.
I would put overregulation 2
Yeah.
and technology 1.
Okay. There you have it. Yeah, I'd say I pretty much agree with all those rankings. I think the overregulation thing is definitely scary. I mean, we talk about the proposal of all communications being held to the same standard of marketing communications. That's the type of overregulation that could crush this industry.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff's already been kind of floated out there. So I think that's got to be relatively high. Again, I don't think the right people are in power for stuff like that to get passed. So I don't think we really have to worry about it right now. But again, over 10 years.
Shaquita went home.
Yes, the sleepover ended. Okay.
Someone, if anyone's out there and you can get me an interview with her, I'd love it. I would do a 2-hour interview with her. I would travel to wherever she is and do it in person.
I don't think she's gonna agree to that.
I don't think she would either.
Oh man. So yeah, technology. That's the big bad scary.
So for all of you listening that are afraid, you should be the most afraid of technology, according to our list. Now, I do want to say, I believe that there is a strong argument that all of these things are very unlikely to be extinction level events. I want to preface this episode by saying that it's just kind of a fun topic to get clicks more than anything else.
Entertainment, you guys. Okay?
Entertainment purposes, yes. I don't believe that any of these are extremely likely to be extinction level events over the next 10 years. I think is there certainly possibility with all of them? Sure, certainly. But I think we have a bright future ahead in our space.
The top two specifically, technology and the overregulation, the more likely scenario is that we'll see a partial and it won't be a full, just like we've seen with CMS. There new rules could come. Doesn't mean it's gonna completely eliminate us as agents and brokers. And technology, the same thing. Most likely the interim future with AI and any other new technology that comes out is we can actually utilize it to grow our businesses. It's not going to eliminate us.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
I know we're getting close to the end of the show time here. It probably is a good time to move into final thoughts. I'll go first. Guys, my final thoughts are to kind of reiterate kind of what we just were talking about there. Like, our future, I think, is very bright for our industry. I think there's a very positive growth ahead outcome. But these are the things that agents fear all the time. It kind of almost provides analysis paralysis for a lot of agents where they're like, oh, single payer, oh, AI, oh, regulation, oh, and just kind of prevents them from even going all in. I've talked to a lot of agents like that they're like, I don't want to risk too much of my livelihood on that. And
yep.
And anything you do in life has risks. Anything you go all in on is going to have risks. For me, I'm very bullish on our space. I've invested, Glenn and I both, we've invested huge amounts of money.
Yes.
Into the future of this space and our business being at the core of that. So I'm bullish on where we're going. I don't think we're going to be extinct in the next 10 years, but it's a question we get asked all the time. So I thought it was a fitting episode.
All the time. This is the constant. It seems like you guys are always freaking out about, which I get it. As a business owner, it's something that you're always concerned that things will, who moved my cheese? The floor's moving from underneath you. I understand that type of anxiety for sure. So not that I'm trying to belittle you guys, but at the same time, it's like some of you get so, and this will be kind of my final thoughts, is like some of you get so focused on this type of speculative of, well, in the next 10 years, we're probably going to have a one-payer healthcare system. So why would I even bother trying to grow my business now? Like, I'm going to just look for something else. Like, you guys get so lost in some of these speculative ideas that may or may not come to fruition that you miss out on the opportunity. I mean, yesterday we talked about some of the legislation that we thought was coming in. I mean, at one point I thought the FCC one-to-one consent was going to be a doomsday event for lead heroes, for marketing in general in this country, and it ended up getting vacated. It ended up not even coming to fruition. So it's like, that's the type of mentality. You can either like figure out how to move forward, or you can just spend all day freaking out about this stuff and not actually grow your business. So I always choose, like, let's figure out how to move forward. Let's look for a solution here. So
Yep.
Those were my final thoughts, you guys.
Fun episode, guys. Don't take it too seriously. We didn't. You might have noticed a little lighthearted. And if you guys want to see more episodes like this, let us know. We're always wanting to know kind of what you guys want to see from us on the show. And that brings us to the end of episode 144. We appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end, regardless of how you listened, whether it was live, whether it was on a recording, regardless of what platform you listen to us on. We appreciate your support, and whatever the platform of your choice allows you to do, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast. Here's to your massive success. Thanks, everybody.